guys, and welcome to Blues Level 1 on guitartricks.com. My name is Anders, and in this chapter you're going to learn about what's called the 12-bar form and how it's used in the context of the blues. And the 12-bar form is the basic chord progression of 90% of all blues tunes, so by learning and getting comfortable with a single chord progression, you're literally learning to play thousands of songs. And to make it even cooler, the 12-bar form is not strictly a blues thing. It also shows up in country and in funk and rock and roll, so it's a great thing to learn. First, let's take a look at the basic chord structure of the 12-bar form. The 12-bar form consists of 3 chords referred to as 1 and 4 and 5. And in this lesson, we're in the key of A. So A is our 1 chord. The 1 chord is the one you will end the song on. The 4 chord, in this case, will be D, and the 5 chord will be E. Now all that means is that it's kind of chord relations. If you have A and you go up the A major scale, the 4th step will be D, which is why the 4 chord is D, and the 5th step would be E, which is why the 5 chord is E. But you don't have to understand that. All you need to know is that in the key of A, you have A as the 1 chord, and you have D as the 4 chord, and E as the 5 chord. And A, most of you people will probably play it like this, with your 1st, 2nd, and 3rd finger in the 2nd fret. But for me, it's hard to fit all 3 fingers in 1 fret, so I like to play it with my 2nd, 3rd, and 4th finger instead, leaving the 1st finger out off the neck here. Alternatively, you can play it like this, which I like to do too, where you just bar across the D, G, and B string. Just make sure that you either have sort of this weird angle on your finger so that the E string is ringing open, or you have it muted, because you don't want this kind of jazzy A6 sound. You want it to either be this or this. Right, and if this is too tricky for you, then just play one of these 2 voicings for the 1 chord. A major, D major, like this. You can always start finding this with your 1st finger in the 2nd fret of the G string, and then adding this one, this D major chord. And for this one, you want to make sure you don't strum the low E string. That doesn't sound very great. So either mute it with your thumb like this, or just be careful in your right hand on how to strum. And if you have big enough hands, you can actually mute both the low E and A string, and you're going to get the D, which is the root, ring in, right? E is the 5 chord where you strum all the strings. So basically we have 4 bars of the 1 chord of A, 4 bars, and then 2 bars of D, which is the 4 chord, and then back to 2 bars of A. And here comes the fast part, which is 1 bar of E, 1 bar of D, 1 bar of A, and 1 bar of E. So once again, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3 bars, 2, 3, 4, 4 bars, 2, 3, and D now, 4 chord, 2, 3 again, 1, 2, back to the 1 chord for 2 bars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 5 chord, the fast bar, 2, 3 to D for 1 chord, 2, 3 to A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 5 chord, and then the whole thing starts over. Now let's play through the 12-bar form in the key of A using open chords with our blues backing track. Count the bars, watch me, or listen to the bass so you know when to change chords. A big part of the sound of the blues is the sound of what's called the dominant 7 chord. And dominant 7 chords are just basic major chords, but with one added note that gives it a certain bluesy tension. Check it out. So starting from your A major chord, all you do is you take off whatever finger you're fretting the G string with, so that the G string is ringing open. Check it out like this. Right? Before we had both the D, G, and B string, the 2nd fret, but now we're taking off whatever finger you're on the G string with, so that the G string is ringing open. The easiest fingering for me is the 2nd and 3rd finger, 2nd on the lowest note, and the 3rd on the highest note. The important thing here is that the note G is ringing open, because that's the note that gives this chord the whole tension. And it's very easy to accidentally end up muting it when you fret the string right above it. So just make sure that you arpeggiate it, and you can really hear this note, because that's where all the bluesy tension is. Right? And we don't write or we don't say dominant 7 every time. That's only when we really have to be specific about it. We just say 7. So this is an A7 chord, just written A7. D7, we had like this before, but now it's like this. You have to change up your fingering a little bit. Before you had this going on, and now this jumps up here, this jumps down here, this is over here, right? And once again, you want to make sure to not strum the low E string. If you can avoid strumming the low A string as well, it's going to sound better, because then you get D as the bass note, which is the root. It's not A. But if you do get A in there, it doesn't sound bad, but it's better without it. So either be careful in your right hand or mute it with your thumb down here. Just make sure that you don't accidentally press with your thumb. Just find a way to make this D7 chord sound good. The E7 chord, going from the E major chord, it's like the other one, except that you now take off your 3rd finger on the D string. And once again, same thing as with the A7 chord. You want to make sure that this finger up here is not accidentally muting the D string. Make sure that you arpeggiate all of the strings so that you can hear them ring. This is the note that all the bluesy tension comes from. So just make sure you have them all ringing in there. And if they're not, then just make sure your fingers are coming in on the string at a straight angle, so they're not coming in like this or something, so that they accidentally mute all the other strings. You want to make sure they only fret the note that you're trying to fret, and that everything else is ringing open. Now let's play through the 12-bar form in the key of A with our new dominant 7 chords. Once again, you want to either watch me count the bars or listen to the bass so you know when to change chords. The last 2 bars of the 12-bar form is called the turnaround, because that's where the 12-bar form ends and gets ready to start all over again. And the turnaround is implied in the 12-bar harmony, but it can be really cool to emphasize it a little more by playing what's called a turnaround lick. So check it out. So for this very simple example of a turnaround lick, we're going to start it on beat 1 of bar 11 with the open A string, right? Pick it with a down and an upstroke, so you get 2 notes. It's important that it's not down, down, but that it's down, up. After that, you fret the 4th fret with your 3rd finger. Same thing, down, up, open D string. So now we have open A string, 4th fret with your 3rd finger, open D string, 1st fret of the D string, and then we land in the 2nd fret of the D string here with our 2nd finger. So down, up, change string, down, up, and then you have a whole bar in this one note, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then it repeats. So bar 11 comes around, this is bar 8, 2, 9, sorry, bar 9 here, and bar 10, and here comes bar 11, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and bar 12, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and it repeats. So it can be really hard to go from the big moves in your right hand that you use when you're strumming to the small moves that you use when you're picking, but that's just a matter of muscle memory. Just kind of relax and just go to the smaller moves. 1, 2, 3, 4, and because we're playing whole notes, there's plenty of time to do that for right now. So basically, we're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, speeding up a little bit. 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4 chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3. Back to the 1 chord, 2 bars. 3, 4, 2, 2. Fast part, E7, 2, 1 bar, D7, and now we go turnaround lick. Now let's try and play through the 12 bar form in the key of A with dominant 7 chords and our new turnaround lick. In the previous lesson, we added a simple turnaround lick to our basic 12-bar blues. Now we're going to take it one step further by expanding just a little bit on that, so check it out. The line that you just learned ends on the note E, which is the root of our 5-chord E7, right? We went 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So it ends on E on the first beat of bar 12 where the chord is E. So what we're going to do now is that we're going to play the E7 chord after that note to build tension going into the new 12-bar cycle. So we're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and then play the chord and then starting over. Okay? The tricky thing here is that because you play just the root on the downbeat, you're going to have to start your strumming with an upstroke. So basically 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Because then you land on beat 1 of the new 12-bar cycle with a downstroke, which is what you want. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Grab the chord. It's a little tricky because you're playing this note here. And then this finger has to jump down here to the first fret of the G string, and this one jumps up here. But again, that's all muscle memory. Just do it a couple times. And in this tutorial, we're at a pretty slow tempo as far as the backing track goes, so there's time to do that. And then over time, you can build some speed. Just make sure you get the strumming right. Down, up, 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 down, and then back to A7. Now let's try it out with the backing track. So once again, we're playing the 12-bar form in the key of A with dominant 7 chords, adding the turnaround lick, and now with the 5-chord strumming at the end. And we're going to go twice through the whole progression this time. In these lessons, you've been introduced to the basic 12-bar form, and you've learned a couple different ways to make it sound like blues. Hopefully you're already well on your way to getting comfortable with this form so that you don't have to count bars anymore when you play it, because the more comfortable you are with something like this, the more you can just relax and have fun with it. In the next couple tutorials, we'll continue working with the 12-bar form in blues, and keep in mind that the best possible way to get comfortable with this form is by listening to a lot of blues while you study it. So have fun with it, and I'll see you next time.